I'm live. Excuse this. It's rose water because I just got dressed and I sprayed my face. But yeah, I'm live. And you already know what time it is. I am reviewing a book. If you can't tell by the title, here's the title of the book. It's called Clap When You Land. Aren't they so cute? They're so adorable on the book. Um, yeah, so let's get started. Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Um, Let me adjust because I'm just looking. All of this right here, excuse me, because it's rose water. But anyway, so Clap When You Land. I really like this book. It was really cute. It was a young adult fiction novel. Yeah, I don't normally read young adult work because I'm not one anymore. But my book club had recommended it, so I said, why not? And yeah, we read it. We had the meeting yesterday, and it got a lot of good, positive reviews. This book is written by an author who typically does poetry. So the format of the book is a little different. It's not something I'm accustomed to. See, it's like set up like a poem, kind of, which was a little off. I wanted to say off and odd. I said those things together. It was a little off and a little odd to me. But I adjusted accordingly and I got used to it. And it actually helped the book go by really fast. I read the book in like 3 days, which is unusual for me because I usually read about 50 pages a day on a traditionally formatted novel because, books with a lot of pages intimidate me. So, yeah, I read it in 3 days. I read about 150 pages a day. And I really enjoyed this book. It was really cute. I really liked it. The main character is basically both of these little girls. Well, they're not little girls, but and the main one second, because that unstable connection, I know it'd be blocking me what I'm saying, so I don't want it to be choppy. Anyways, this book was cute, but the main issue that the protagonists are facing in this book is that their dad dies in a plane crash. And these two young ladies don't know each other until the end of the book. And, you know, they had no idea about each other. Like, it's about like family secrets, which is something that I can relate to. Yeah, it explores those completely out of left field. A lot of what these girls experience in this book, I really could relate to, pertaining to just family members and them keeping things from you and trying to protect you. Um, I definitely could relate. It was just, I don't know, it was taking me back to being a teenager. That's why I'm just like fawning over them. I'm like, oh, they're so little and young. They don't really know what's ahead. Even though they're fictional characters. But anyways, it was just such a really interesting way to look at these young girls, young women of color, these young Black girls, and how they can live in two separate areas, um, and experience a parent in a completely different way. I thought that was really interesting. And just the twist in the book, man, it's a lot. I'm just like, dang, y'all really got a lot going on with these family ties, and it just made me and like my book club think like, why do men do the things that they do? Why do you feel it necessary to you know, have these two families, have multiple children, have multiple girlfriends, relationships, wives, whatever. You're living this double life. Like, is it an ego stroke? Is it a kick? Like, what do you get out of it? It's just challenging. It's a challenging um thing to think about, and I'm like, do these men consider the women or the children, the lives that they're impacting by having these double lives and living this way? It's just, I don't know. That's how I felt. I was just sighing when I was reading this. And then they have to deal with the implications of what happened with, the plane crash. So all of that with this book was really powerful, really impactful. What I took away from it is, essentially they lost someone that is basically half of their genetic makeup. He meant something to them, but they also gained a sisterhood and a bond that, will forever be meaningful to them. And I thought that was really special. Especially considering that I have sisters. Um, it was such a cute book. I really liked it. What else? I really enjoyed some of the descriptions in the book, because as you can see, the book is it's set up like a poem, so it's very like bare, or it appears that way. But her word choices and her word usage, and the rhythm of how the prose flows, was well executed. Like, I was very impressed. This book was a page turner. I don't say that about a lot of books. This book, I was like, okay, so what's about to happen next? Like, my only one critique would be that, like, in the end, it kind of did, like, kind of tie up nicely. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm spoiling too much by telling you about, like, the plane crash, because that's immediately they start talking about that. But the way all of it unravels is really interesting, and it really it really causes you to examine your own grief, the things that you've been through, and how that may or may not have affected certain people. Like, what what grief did you experience? How is that affecting people in your life around you? Because what they were experiencing and the grief that they were going through was affecting a lot of the characters in this book. A lot of the things that resulted from the plane crash affected certain people in certain places, and certain other people didn't get to reap those rewards. They didn't get to reap those benefits. So it's just a really interesting conversation piece when it comes to grief, tragedy, and loss. And how do you deal with an individual who has, basically have multiple families, have multiple children? How do they process that while still processing the fact that, oh wow, you're my sibling now? Because this situation with this book is something that happened to me when I was in college. Somebody reached out to me and was like, "Hey, so and so, is so and so your father? If so, like, was it XYZ? Was it like this?" And it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be that way. I feel like a lot of choices that men make, they don't realize the heavy impact it has on their children's life or the people in their life. They just kind of live in the moment, and it's a very selfish way to live, but you know, that's how some people are. I feel like the book, there are a lot of female characters in this book, and there are male characters. The two main male characters aren't exactly like the best representation of men. But it is what it is. There were some, fairly decent male characters, like her uncle, and I think the other girl's cousin. I think he needed some help with something. But other than that, the male characters were pretty much trash. Yeah. Another person who was being kind of selfish too was Yahara's mother. She was being selfish at first. I was like, sis, this is her dad. Like, I know you feel a way about him, but she is grieving, one, and two, she deserves to pay her respects in a noble, honorable way, no matter how you felt about him. Like, that's still her father. Because I believe if you can't just skip out on your parents' funeral. It's one thing you miss your grandparents. I don't like that, but I don't feel like you should be missing anyone's funeral, honestly, that you are connected to or that you love. But her mom was being really selfish in that instance in the book, and I was just like, lady, please get over yourself. Like, I understand you feeling your feelings, but it's time for you to check into a therapist. And um, let's see, who else? I don't know. There were aspects of the book that I really liked. I really liked the incorporation of the Spanglish with Spanish elements and the cultural elements. I really enjoyed that and learning about that. I also enjoyed the Tia. I think her name was Tia, not Tia Mabel. It was Tia something, but she was her auntie in on the island. She was like a healer and for the community and stuff, and she was deeply spiritual. And I like people like that. Like I'm a spiritual being as well. So shout out to all of them. But yeah, she was a good character. I wouldn't say I have a favorite though. I don't really think I had a favorite character. Nobody really stood out to me, as like I really connect with them. Like, no. But overall, I think the plot and the story was really gripping and interesting. I didn't know that this story was based on a true story. I found that out in my book club yesterday. That the flight that was going to Dominican Republic from Queens, New York, that happened, I think, I want to say around September 11th or a little bit after, sometime around 9/11 time. They completely ignored it in the media. Wonder why? Probably because it was black people, brown people, the just completely cutting out history. So shout out to Elizabeth Acevedo for opening our eyes to that. That's something I never even knew about, and it happened on American soil. Um, Once again, this was a really good book. I really liked this book. It was cute. It was a really good book. Definitely would recommend it to the young ladies in my life, my little nieces, and even my nephews. Shoot, why not? They can read it too. We were discussing that in my book club too about we should, how men should be more open to reading female authors and books about women. Also, yourself to knowledge. One second. I feel like expanding your mind and opening yourself to knowledge is a very imperative way to better yourself and better the world. So, with that being said, that's what I have to say about Clap When You Land. It's a really good book. If you guys pick it up and read it, I would recommend you do it. Next up, well, right now I'm reading. I just heard something. Maybe it was outside. I'm tripping. Right now I'm reading Home by Toni Morrison. I'll probably be doing a review for that this week because it's a really short read. And that excites me because Toni's books be long and just heavy, but the heaviness sticks to you and it's very memorable. And then once I'm done with that, because I'll be done with that book by tomorrow, be done with Home by tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll probably read The Souls of Black Folks by E.B. Du Bois, because I've been seeing that book everywhere. And like the last, so I'm just going to give in and read the book. So next up is Home, and then The Souls of Black Folks, and then I'm gonna probably read. I have a book about Jesus, the Messiah. I'll be reading that next week. And next month, my book club is reading just upside down The Vanishing Half. We're gonna be reading this. Other book club I was in through Instagram, we were reading this. Well, they had started reading it, and I had got off of that book club because I had got off of Instagram because I'm just sick of social media. Like, this is enough. YouTube is enough. But yeah, The Vanishing Half, I'll be reading that in August with my book club. And I'll be reading a bunch of other books in August. Like, I have a Zora Neale Hurston book I want to read and review. I got books everywhere. It's crazy in here. But yeah, Clap When You Land, go check it out. Home by Toni Morrison will be this week, and The Souls of Black Folks. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.